Coming up on the show, Disney makes its digital key feature available at all Walt Disney World resort hotels. The war on straws comes to Disneyland. We share our unpopular Disney opinions about food at the Magic Kingdom. And in our main segment, we dive into My Disney Experience and what the vacation booking tool entails. All that coming up on this episode of WDW Opinion. Cue the music.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
This is the podcast where two friends, Connor
You are a child plaything!
and Hank,
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
share their opinions, tips, and stories about anything and everything at Walt Disney World.
Tristan, what could go wrong?
Get ready, because this is WDW Opinion.
We're in the tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Hello and welcome to episode number 8 of WDW Opinion, the podcast where friends talk Disney. Visit WDWopinion.com to check out our blog posts on all things Disney and Universal, and follow us on social media at WDW Opinion to see what we're up to in between episodes. I am your host, Connor Brown, and I'm joined by my co-host and Disney partner in crime, the one, the only Mr. Hank Molsky. Hank, this week Nabisco released new cover art for the Animal Cracker packaging, where all the animals are no longer behind cages, which prompts the question, when will the animals of Animal Kingdom be allowed to roam freely throughout the park?
Haven't they always allowed Florida residents into the park?
Oh, snap.
Hey,
Florida, y'all just got served.
I served it up on a platter and I dished it out.
That was almost too easy. I'm upset at myself for not even thinking of that one.
We love them though.
We do
Without
love them.
we wouldn't have the beautifully discounted annual pass that I will never get to touch.
That's a good point, yeah. Well, you get to, once you retire.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Thank you, Florida locals, for establishing that precedent.
Right, Hank goes down there in 40 years.
Looking forward to it, folks.
Well, with all that retirement news and speak, I guess I should say, let's put that aside for now and get into the show. It's time for News to Opinion. This is our weekly segment where we each pick a Disney news story from the past week to discuss and share our thoughts and opinions on. My news story of the week is Digital Key feature now available at all Walt Disney World resorts. This is an article from WDWinfo.com. Earlier this year, the new Digital Key feature was rolled out within the My Disney Experience app, allowing guests at Disney's Wilderness Lodge to unlock their resort hotel room doors using Bluetooth. The Digital Key feature adds convenience and flexibility to a Disney resort hotel stay, giving guests a backup option in the event that they lock themselves out of their room. Additionally, this is nice, this is fun, the feature has been designed with a Disney touch, and guests who listen closely can hear the sound of pixie dust filling the air as the hotel room door opens.
Oh, isn't that just spectacular?
It's lovely. Guests can also use the Digital Key feature to unlock places like fitness centers, elevators, club level lounges, probably pools too. Basically, the way that this feature works is you make sure that your cell phone is on Bluetooth. You go into the My Disney Experience app, you select Digital Key, and when you pull your phone out, you can just touch your phone basically to the Magic Band reader on your resort hotel room door, and it'll magically unlock it. I think this is cool not because of what it signifies straight up, but I think what it signifies coming down the line.
I was hoping you'd say that.
This is something that I've seen in other hotels before. I think the Hilton hotels, the Marriott hotels have them, where you go into their app. Starwood Hotels has it, where you go into their app and you're able to unlock the door with your phone and things like that.
Right.
But what this is signifying is that Disney is starting to play with the idea of maybe you don't always need a magic band to go into places. Maybe,
and that's the big thing.
And that's the big thing. Maybe your phone.
Basically, it's just I'm waiting for the Apple Watch. That's all I really care about.
Exactly. Like, so your first step, phone. Next step, a wearable, like a Samsung watch or a Pebble watch, or of course the ubiquitous Apple Watch. You'll be able to go right up to the door, touch your wearable device to it, and it should unlock. Why is this important? Just because it gives people another option other than magic bands. And I think, eventually down the road, these things are going to become unnecessary even. I think it's going to be a thing where you can walk right into the parks, and as soon as you get close to your door, it'll unlock. You don't have to pull anything out.
Yeah.
Other companies have started playing with this, like Ticketmaster has started playing it with certain arenas around the world. Amazon has started playing with it in convenience stores and things like that. But it's just another technology, really, that I don't think a whole lot of people will utilize, especially when you're still getting a magic band. But it's something.
It's funny. It's that odd space between, where we are now and where we're going in the future. It's like this. Right now, it's not a convenience at all, really. If you have the magic band, unless you cannot stand the magic band, which most people at Disney World don't seem to care about now. I don't hear a lot of people voicing opinions against that out there in the community, but
I would say I had some resistance when I was working at front desk at the Yacht and Beach Club.
Oh boy.
But the people I mostly had resistance from were people staying there for a convention. The Yacht Club had a convention center.
Oh, okay. I got you now.
So business people...
Well, hey, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah. When they came in, they were like, well, what is this thing? Can't I just have a regular key? Unfortunately, no, you can't. You can't have a regular key,
All right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on board now. See, that's why we bring you in for this.
And then
the heavy hitter.
Exactly. I mean, the other things are more, some kids just can't wear it or stuff like that. They don't like to wear it, but the parent is still using it.
I had a very narrow lens on this. I was thinking about purely my application. But it does kind of what happens down the line when, you think about Disney World now. I'm thinking of the Disney World between, early 2000s to now, where the image of a Disney park goer has the magic band on. That is a part of the Disney World brand now. Do they just lose that in like 10 years? Is that gone? Is that just something that will evaporate? Or is Disney going to try to find a way to incentivize you to wear one of those?
I don't know. I mean, that is interesting because they've created a structure where people buy room keys, They buy a tool.
That can't be small either. That has to be a nice slice of revenue too.
Oh, no.
Given the volume that those are produced at.
So the main segment this week, we're going to dive into magic bands and stuff, and I have a couple interesting fun facts that I'll save for them.
Yeah.
But, Disney does give these things away for free a lot. But, when you check into your hotel, when you book a stay, you can get one for free. But the accessories that come with it. The last time I was in Disney, my mom bought an accessory, one of the keychains, so she didn't have to wear it as a bracelet. And that was like $15. My sister got one too. That was quick, just like that.
This is probably on Etsy, and if it's not, I'm gonna go make one after the show. But one of the first things I remember when Magic Band 2.0 came out, and I haven't seen it yet, so I might just be, saying something that's already existing. I really wanted them to make an eye patch, one of them, where you pop the ring into an eye patch so you could hold it up to the keyhole or hold it up to the ride. So on a Magic Band 2.0, the difference between a 1.0 and a 2.0, the 2.0 it's the same rubber band that you've always seen people at Disney World wearing, but the chip is in a little circle that pops in and out. Not pop straight out. You got to have a special screw to undo it and pop it into something else. It'll come with the next one you buy or what have you. And so anyways, like Connor was saying, his mother bought one of these keychains where you can pop it in there and, hook it on your belt or something like that. I was saying, pop this thing out, throw it in an eye patch. Think about kids running around with their magic bands on, looking in the keyholes, going to the rides. I hope that already exists on Etsy.
If it doesn't, you're about to make a lot of money. Or not,
I know.
because people think it's ridiculous. We always used to joke about people wearing it as anklets rather than bracelets, and they just, kick their leg, do a high kick.
Not as good as the eye patch.
Not as good as the eye patch at all. So it's an interesting addition, and we'll see how it plays out in the near future.
Yeah, we devolved very far away from a phone to an eye patch in that segment.
That's a good point.
I'm going to bring to the table this week a piece of news that came out today. Disneyland Resort has begun the reduction of straws, bags, and eliminated lids. It is no longer as they would call, a standard offering. As a part of the Disney World Company's renewed commitment to environmental protection that was announced last month, the Disneyland Resort has put in several new policies meant to reduce plastic waste. Beginning this week, plastic straws will be available by request only, and plastic lids for adult cold beverages will no longer be available. Guests with disabilities who require a straw or lid will be accommodated. You can see a lot of companies doing this. I think it's cool that, Disney's on the front end of that, not, one of these lumbering companies behind that, when Starbucks announces that they're going totally compostable cups and no straws, Disney can round the corner and say, boom, we just did it in Disneyland. They're not behind the times. They're very current. They're able to update their apps to, check you into your room, and you're not going to get this strange experience of, walking into one of these old theme parks that has these outdated systems where you're like, why in the world does that still exist there in, 10 years? I went to Disneyland. They still had straws.
And what you're probably going to start seeing is, would you like a straw? Oh, we have hard plastic reusable straws that we can sell you for $2.50.
Oh, there you go. And you can put your Magic Band 2.0 in it.
Coming soon, Magic Band 3.0, Magic Straw. Oh, yeah, this Magic Straw is great. It's got my Fast Passes, my tickets. It's how I suck up my Diet Coke. I love it.
Magic straws are coming to you soon at Walt Disney World in Florida. Hey, if the success of this really takes off with Magic Band 3.0, they can really go after Universal's wand market, Connor. And all of a sudden, you've got a straw that you can wave around like a wand in Disney World, and this is where our podcast gets shut down forever.
Forever. Think about all of the new T-shirt sales they'll have to do. People are going to be bumping into each other, spilling soda all over the place. Stains
We're
galore.
Still going down this. So I think the switch to lidless is, it's contemporary, for lack of a better term. It just seems right that Disney, keeps up with the times.
I mean, I've been dealing with this for 20 years now in Animal Kingdom, so.
Yeah, it's not a zoo, though.
It's not the zoo. Correct.
Not a zoo.
It's not the zoo. Well, there you go. You can open your door with your cell phone, but you can't get a plastic straw with your soda. Now it's time for unpopular Disney opinions. We all have our favorite Disney park, Disney attraction, and Disney restaurant. They are our favorite for a plethora of reasons. But then there are the things we are supposed to like, or supposed to hate, because the vast majority of the Disney fan community thinks that way. Well, in this segment, we'll share our unpopular Disney opinions in a safe, welcoming, judge-free space. Just kidding. We're going to judge each other so hard. So for this week, Hank, why don't we focus our unpopular Disney opinions revolving around Magic Kingdom food?
Okay. Lay it on me. Who's going first? This is the judge.
Yeah, I know. I should probably let you go first because I feel like we're going to have the same one.
Oh, no. Okay. Let's hear it. Don't think Be Our Guest is that immersive.
Oh, wow. Newsflash, we don't have the same one, and I'm very excited. Upset that you don't think it's immersive, but very excited you didn't pick mine.
No, I went to Be Our Guest for the first time this past summer, and I very much enjoyed it. I very much like the tuna niçoise salad. God, that is so pretentious. Why do they serve that? They just do that so people can talk about the tuna niçoise at lunchtime in the Magic Kingdom was just divine.
Right, like what you exactly just did 30 seconds before.
Yeah. I did that exact thing. That's what they want to happen. They set me up. I've been set up by the mouse. This is why I hate that restaurant.
Oh gosh.
I liked the tuna niçoise. Everyone said you'd like it.
I like it. Would I say I'm in love with it? I'm indifferent to it.
Well, my unpopular opinion revolving around food there. Not that the tuna niçoise was great, because I agree with that, because I'm a plebeian. But I just didn't. I don't know. I think there's something different about packing a mess hall full that doesn't feel quite right for this word that we love to use, which is total immersion in the parks. And Be Our Guest does an excellent job with theming. However, it's very open. There's almost always a consistent, at least at lunchtime, there's a consistent light that comes in from outside that lights this whole area up, unless you're in the West Wing. And it just feels a bit off to me. And that, to the point, I've seen people, is it the best, one of the best dining locations in Magic Kingdom? Yes. Is it the penultimate place that you have to reserve 6 months in advance to just walk in there? I think that's foolish. I don't understand that. It's very cool, but I think it could be, I don't know, less jammed in there, less mess hall-ish for something that's supposed to be so grand as Be Our Guest. There you go. Lay it on me. What do you think?
I think you're a fool.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, I think it's one of the most immersive. Like, when you think about the word immersive, what are you being immersed into? The world of Beauty and the Beast, of that ballroom, of that scene. That's where you're being put in. And that's it. Just because a little light comes through the window, unfortunately.
I do like the snow.
But yeah, so that's another thing. It's immersion. It creates its own world. And, you come in from the 90-degree heat, and there's snow coming down. And it's a big, grand ballroom where you've just come from one of the... It's got a
soda dispenser in the same room.
Well, yeah. Well, I think there's a big...
There's limitations. There's
a big handoff from lunch, from breakfast and lunch to dinner, for sure. But, I also think the Imagineers almost knew that they were going to be knew that this was going to be so popular, because everyone was going to say, "Oh my God, it's incredibly immersive." So they decided to make it a hybrid restaurant and allow as many people in as possible through breakfast and lunch, and create that aspect. So if you think about the main hall, you're walking into a castle, man. You're going over a bridge. You see a mountain there. You see the big, tall things. See, now this is just, I'm trying to defend this. Like, I'm taking the sword for this. I'm falling for the sword on this.
I'm having none of it. No. I understand. No, and here's the thing, and I'm trying to just pick something that I enjoyed, because I don't have a very good unpopular opinion for this, except that I do stand by that I don't think it's as immersive. I think Disney does restaurant theming so well around the parks that it doesn't put it at an echelon so far above other things that I know and love throughout Disney World. I love, for example, the beer garden in Germany. I feel like that is something that truly is supposed to feel like a mess hall in a garden, in the Germany pavilion at Epcot. Or, Connor, you and I love going to Sanaa. The fact that that's on the African savannah, that's really cool. I mean, that's there. The animals walk by. Even if you just take a spin around the World Showcase and dine in, especially the Mexico pavilion.
The problem with all these immersive restaurants is a lot of them are good, but a lot of them are just awful. There's so many ones that can just phone it in, and unfortunately they do. But if you think about the one restaurant that could just, rest on its laurels of where it's located and phone it in food-wise, it's California Grill. But they don't,
Yeah.
Because they have absolutely incredible food there. I don't know. I think Be Our Guest has good food as well.
The tuna niçoise.
Oh, Jesus. Hank, that is a very unpopular Disney opinion. I'll tell you that much. I do.
You're
let me
welcome.
say.
I'll take a bow for that. Yeah.
I do think it's still a little overrated. I mean, it's like back in the day. I remember my mom used to get on the phone.
Oh boy.
For Cinderella's Royal Table, like as soon as you could. Like she'd wake up early to try and get a reservation.
You want to talk about overrated?
Exactly, and that's what that used to be. This I think is a little better. In
that's
that
another
regard,
level
but,
of overrated, overpriced, too.
Overpriced and overrated, but not immersive.
All right, there you go.
I do not agree, my friend. Well, I will tell you this much: your unpopular Disney opinion of the week will pale in comparison to my unpopular.
That
Disney
you thought I would have
opinion.
the same one for. Here we go.
Yes. So my unpopular Disney opinion revolving around Magic Kingdom food is I don't think Dole Whip is actually that good.
Okay, go ahead.
You can hear the cries of injustice all around the world.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Here's all of Facebook. You're an idiot. That's all the comments. Everyone's saying idiot, idiot, idiot.
Go ahead. Lay it on me.
I think it's the hype machine for this bad boy too.
Yeah.
Listen, pineapple juice is great. I love pineapple juice. I think it's unique. I think, you can't really get like pineapple soft serve, like especially from Dole from Hawaii, like anywhere else. I mean, there's 3 places in the world that you can get an official one: Disney World, Disneyland, and the Dole Pineapple Plantation in Honolulu, in Hawaii. So I think that's awesome. That's very cool. It's tasty.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, but it's not something I'd wait in an excessive amount of line, and it's not something I always have to get. It's not something where I'm like, oh my God, Dole Whip, Dole Whip, Dole Whip. I'm not daydreaming about it. I think it's just okay.
I love soft serve, so it's
so
tough
do I.
for me.
So do I.
Yeah, it's tough for me to not get excited about it. I do love it. I do not like the floats, though. Talk about a sugar bomb.
Oh,
I mean,
really? That's the one I actually love the most.
Oh, God. See, there we go.
Because it
It's
has
just
the
like-
pineapple juice.
Yeah, there's so much pineapple juice. You're going to be with my wife on that one. She likes the one with the pineapple juice.
I think the big thing for it is that you can only get it in Disney parks for the most part,
Yeah, and that is pretty special. That's cool.
Like it has a lot of that part of it going for it. But
It's hard for me to go to opposite ends of the spectrum on the Dole Whip because I do get really excited for it, but I have a hard time defending it.
yeah, but so you get excited for it probably because everyone else is telling you to get excited for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to have a hard time standing up to defend it because I'm like, well, it's the same as lots of other good soft-serve flavors.
You like ice cream, don't you? And you like pineapple. And Disney World.
You can get it while you're waiting in line for the Enchanted... Nope, not in Disney World.
Can't wait in line. I think you can wait in line with it. Just as soon as you get inside, I don't think you're allowed to.
Well, the one in Disneyland is in the line.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Now, that's pretty cool. That is special. I would get pretty hyped for that. I would go in the Enchanted Tiki Room with a Dole Whip every damn time I was out there.
So, like, all the new... one in Rome. One in Rome kind of thing. All of the newer queues, like at Disney and Universal, when they know it's going to be a super popular attraction, have you noticed that they're putting in a little area where a quick service cast member can roll in a cart and sell like bottled waters, chips, sodas, stuff like that?
Oh, is this like the room halfway through the Flight of Passage line where you heard about this, where they wanted to put in bathrooms in that room, but James Cameron didn't want it because it would break the immersion of the line?
Oh, really? Oh, my
Well,
God.
think about it. If you walked... So I looked at this room the last time I was there.
Yeah.
There are 2 doors perfectly positioned for men's and women's with a water fountain right out front, just like a bathroom would be. And you walk through there and you're like, oh, my God, he really did. They really did build it to have a bathroom right here.
There's even there's even 2 signs of Na'vi. One has a tail and one doesn't.
Exactly. It's all ready to go. It's so funny because you're like, oh, this would be the perfect place to have, a cast member roll something through or go to the bathroom. Nope, just stand in the tunnel.
No, just a hallway that doesn't lead to anywhere is more immersive. But yeah, like you'll see it at like the Hogwarts Express when you're in line at King's Cross.
yeah.
And the other one,
Yeah.
there's like a little shop there. There is one now in Navi River Journey, and just a cast member like rolls up during peak hours and sells stuff. So I was working at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, where I worked for like 6 months, and like I had a month left on my time there. My time like was Alcatraz, like I was serving time there.
Yeah.
And I walked down during one of my shifts, and all of a sudden I noticed, there's a girl selling sodas in the line here. I had no idea.
What are you doing down here?
Hey, did you?
What are you doing in the mine?
You got a fast pass? Where?
Yeah.
What the? Yeah, it was hilarious.
What are you doing with the miners down here?
Do you have any water?
All right, so I don't like Dole Whip. You don't like Be Our Guest. I guess we'll march past those the next time we're out in Magic Kingdom. Now it's time for our main segment. When it comes to technology, Disney has always been on the forefront of innovation. Walt Disney himself was a futurist. Whether it was in animation, film development, theme parks, and even robotics technology, Disney has always been a leading innovator. The parks are always some of the best places to see the latest tech in action. Often, you leave an attraction with the thought, how'd they do that?
How'd I do that?
How'd they do that? In recent years, the guest experience of visiting Walt Disney World has gotten a huge tech upgrade. In 2013, Disney launched My Magic Plus, a new vacation planning tool that would encompass the entire Disney trip experience. With it came 4 key components: Magic Bands, FastPass Plus, My Disney Experience, and PhotoPass Memory Maker. While Hank and I both think that My Magic Plus is an incredible accomplishment and a huge upgrade in the Disney vacation experience, we definitely know that it can be overwhelming. That's why this week we're breaking it down into its 4 main components. We'll tell you what you need to know, some tips and tricks to use it, and what pain points we might still experience with the system. It's all about plussing the Disney vacation experience this week on WDW Opinion. So Hank, what's your favorite thing or element that has come from My Magic Plus?
It's tough to say because when you say it's so expansive. How about this? I'll go into the minutia. Having the fast passes be digital versus a little piece of paper, I just think that's the ultimate convenience. It's so multi-layered. It is so difficult to try to pick out one aspect of this. So I'm just going to go to something that affects, like just about every second of the day. And that's tapping your Magic Band to get on a ride. It's so iconic now at this point.
It's so satisfying because I don't know why, but literally every single time I go to a turnstile, I go to a door, I go to a fast pass line entrance, I touch it, and up until I touch it, I think, oh God, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work.
Every damn time, but it works.
And then it works. And they're like,
every damn time.
Oh, it works.
Let's pause a little bit here. I want to know, I know this probably exists, the genius that is responsible for the total user experience of swiping that damn Magic Band in the new entrance to the parks that's been there since this launched. That is the most satisfying freaking thing you can do on the planet. Getting the boom, 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 it's spinning, boom, locks in.
So I don't know who came up with what
Correct.
You're talking about, the circles.
Magic
and things
Band's
like
a different
that.
story.
But the Magic Bands is funny because Vice President of Business Development, John Pageant, and I'm reading this from Wikipedia, so take this with a grain of salt. He was going on a flight from Burbank, from where Walt Disney Company's headquarters is, to Orlando, and he saw a magnetic therapy wristband in, of all places, Sky Mall magazine. And it said it claimed to ease sore muscles while simultaneously improving one's golf swing. Oh, he's a golfer. He and the project team began considering the design of a wristband encoded with everything a guest might need, he said. Park tickets, photos, coupons, even money. Coupons? We don't have any coupons on these. Oh, that's very upsetting.
You can probably buy an extra Fast Pass ticket in 2 years.
Oh, that's very upsetting as well. God.
Sorry about that.
Debbie Downer over here. So My Magic Plus was big because it was, on the cusp of being completely revolutionary. Not just for Disney, for an entire vacation experience. Really for an entire technology experience. They invested over $1 billion. And I know some estimates say, closer to $2 billion into this thing. And because of the expenses, and there have been, some failures with it, I think more successes than anything. But because of those expenses, that's why they've kind of reserved a lot of rolling it out to other theme parks across the world.
Yep.
So like we said, it was broken down into 4 components. So we'll dive into each one of these. We'll give a little bit of an overview, how to work with them, and then what we like and what we don't like about it. I think the first and the biggest one to talk about is My Disney Experience. So My Disney Experience is really the central point of this whole system. It's the ultimate planning tool for your vacation, and this is where you book your reservations for dining, you make your FastPass Plus selections, you look at park hours, you can find wait times for attractions, so much more. You can now map your location. You can see, I want to go here. How far is it to get to here? You can also now see what time the next bus comes at your resort hotel. There's 2 components to it. You can do it on a phone and a tablet or on the computer. It's really, are you sitting down to plan your vacation? If you are, you're probably going to use a computer to get your hotel, your dining, your ticket packages, all that fun jazz. And then when you're in the parks, you're going to use your phone and stuff like that. This has become like my travel buddy in a way,
Yeah.
It's like you're just constantly going to it and seeing, oh, what's the wait time here? Ooh, can I update my FastPass?
It is an absolute drug in the park.
It is, and I don't want it to seem like, oh, you guys are just wasting so much time on it. I'm not doing this like I'm sitting on Big Thunder Mountain doing this. No, I'm doing this once I've looked at everything in the line. I'm like, what time's the parade again? What time's this again?
Yeah, but here's the other thing, and this is where I get into the Play Disney thing, and I can't remember if I made this point or not before, but you only get to do that in the park. The app is only going to behave that way when you're at Disney World. When someone's like, "Oh, you can be on your phone anytime," when you're not in the park, I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't do all this stuff. I'm not looking at like the ride times across the park. I'm not being able to plan my dinner and order dinner on the app. That kind of stuff. It's cool. It really sucks you in."
But I will say, every once in a while when I'm feeling down, I'm feeling like I need a little Disney.
Well, hey, don't get me wrong on this. I know where this is going.
We are crazy people. I will pull that up and I will look at wait times.
Oh yeah, no tradition is greater. I'm going to start a tradition amongst all our listeners. When you wake up on Christmas morning and you see if Santa ate the cookies that you left out the night before, and you start to open gifts. You're laying there after a big Christmas morning breakfast. Open up the My Disney Experience app and look at the poor suckers waiting in about a 3-hour line for the 7 Doors Mine Train on Christmas morning, because it's just delightful. That and New Year's Day, I just it brings me the holiday cheer.
And you look around your empty house and you just think, life is good.
I'm so much happier.
Life is good. And it's all possible because of the My Disney Experience app.
But yes, I do use it here and there. It only, you know what I'm saying, though. When you're in the park, you're only getting that full experience. It's part of your adventure. Get what you're paying for.
What I will say the My Disney Experience app is great for is because you have it, like I said, like as a computer website, just on your browser, and then also as the mobile app, it allows you to constantly plan. And when I say constantly, I mean more of an always have the opportunity to plan wherever you are before you arrive. And what I mean by that is you can always just, let's say you're sitting there on your lunch break and you're like, oh, I have this trip coming up and I wanted to get this fast pass. I didn't get it. Let me just go check real quick. You never know when a fast pass is going to pop up. You never know when a dining reservation is going to pop up. You never know when you might want to look at an upgrade or something. And you can do that with this app.
I feel like I make about like 50 reservations for dinner before I go there and then just cancel them all before the 24-hour period. Ooh, I'm going to do this one. Ooh, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one. And then I cancel them all.
Which you can totally do, but you also
got to remember.
You have to remember that if you cancel a reservation inside of 24 hours, you're charged $10 per person in your party. If you have a party of 4 and you cancel your reservation 10 hours before, it's going to be $40, and it charges your card because it has your credit card on file.
Don't forget that one.
Do not forget that one. So it's great. It's your vacation planning tool in your pocket or on your computer. There's so much you can do on it. Really the basis of your vacation. Dining, fast pass, tickets, resorts.
So what we don't like about it, yes. I will say this, and we've lamented this before, it is as powerful and robust as the features are. It is a little clunky. It is not perfect. It does take some refreshing, killing, opening, closing, logging in, logging out. Desktop is, I would teeter towards unreliable. Not like, I don't want to say, the app is a reliable app. If you open up that app, it's going to work most of the time. I would say I'm almost on the edge to say the desktop, when you're in a bind, it can be slightly unreliable. Just because there are, you can log into the wrong account, you can get to different pages. I think that the user experience is a little fragmented on the desktop. And now I'm really, really, really nitpicking. I think they are due for like a UX redesign, a refresh. It's a little, I feel like it's tiny bit, I think it's a little bit dated. And if you don't agree with that, just go, and I was doing this the other night, just go to the Disneyland Resort in Japan's website, and you take a look at that, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, Disney World's outdated. Okay.
Oh, you're just talking about the website.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the design in general.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So
they
design
iterate on that. They iterate on that thing all the time with features, but the design could use a little bit of bring it to the 21st century.
But you think that the app design is good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I agree with that. I think the app has come leaps and bounds better than what it was when it first started.
Oh my God.
It used to be awful. Like you couldn't open it without it shutting down on you.
Yeah, it still does die more than other apps, but it is, like we've said, it is like our lifeblood in that park.
But it's also a real-time system. You can constantly update it, and thousands of people can constantly do that at the same time too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think the unreliable factor is troubling, but it's still relatively in its infancy, and it's got a lot of firepower, and a lot of people are on it all the time. So once you get your dining reservations taken care of, and you get your resort room, and you get your tickets, and you get your Fast Pass Plus booked, well then some place has to house it, and that's part 2 of the My Magic Plus system, which is Magic Bands. So simply put, Magic Bands are a band that can house all of your information. So you can have your credit card on it. If you're staying at a resort, it'll be your room key. It'll be your ticket into the park. You'll scan it at the turnstiles. You'll be let in. It'll be your Fast Pass entrance that you use to get into rides. All of that jazz. And if your My Disney Experience app is your virtual travel buddy, this is your physical travel buddy.
I'm making myself giggle over here because I love putting my credit card on it. It is so convenient. But I'm laughing because, Connor, I think you'll probably agree with this, especially as someone that worked at the front desk. Someone who might be a little bit averse to technology, not want to put their credit card on it, put your credit card on the band. It is so much more convenient. And they'll go, oh, no, I don't want it on that. I don't want it on that technology. And you got to be like behind the desk, hey, pal, I already got your credit card number. The mouse already knows.
Yeah, dude. I know your blood type, basically.
Yeah.
All right?
The mouse already knows your credit card, pal. You might as well put it on this band where you got a 4-digit pin on it.
Yeah. I think I love it. I will say it's dangerous.
Oh, it's dangerous.
Oh, it's dangerous. Tap to go, enter a 4-digit pin. Yeah, it's dangerous, especially in Epcot when you're a 21-year-old person.
It's free money.
It's free money. I will say, for anyone who is adverse to the idea of putting a credit card on it or something like that, or, adverse to, well, if someone finds it, they'll be able to get my information. No, they won't. It doesn't house your personal information per se. Like your personal information isn't on the band itself. What the band does is it acts like a key almost. So when it touches something like one of the credit card readers or the turnstiles or your room key or your room door, it unlocks the virtual door where that information is housed in other rooms, basically. Like, that's the best way I can put it.
Yep.
If you have that band and you're a random stranger, you can't do anything with that. Like, there's no information you can get off of it. They're, I don't want to say they're 100% safe because all technology has its flaws like anything else does. But, I always love the thing of, oh, well, I don't really like linking my credit card to something. Well, those people are the same people who mail checks in the mail, Like,
right.
How is that any different? A random Joe Schmo can go up to your mailbox and steal something. So you get them basically whenever you stay on property. That was the first way that you get them. They would be your room key. If you customize them, which you can customize, there are, I think, close to 10 colors now. You can put your name on the inside band so that you know whose is whose, which is good.
Don't have to put your name either. That's a fun tip.
Yep.
You can have a little fun with it.
Or you can put on, a different name, something like that. If you order them in advance, like you set out that what colors you want, what names you want on them, they'll ship them to your house about 2 to 3 weeks to a month in advance of your vacation. This is awesome because I think it's such a great way that Disney has made them get you ready for your vacation.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's almost frustrating how good the experience is.
Oh, yes. Oh, I agree with that completely.
You shake your fist. You're like, God, why is it so satisfying? It's like we talked about, like when you walk into the park. It's just there's that, the moment when it comes in the mail, and they just know how to do it.
It's just the touch points along the way. Hey, you should book your fast passes now. Hey, did you know you can do dining? They're sending you these emails. They're sending you these booklets to get you acclimated to your resort. You get your magic bands. You get your Magical Express tickets. It's just building this momentum. Boom, 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 boom. It's awesome. I love it. So that's the main way to get them. You can also buy them. If you buy an annual pass, you pretty much always get a magic band that you can have for each one, but they're always interchangeable. So, I'm looking at my magic bands. I've got probably close to 20 by now, and I can use any of those at any point in time. I will say about 2 years, I think they have a shelf life of. That's just because there's a little battery in it.
Oh,
but,
I didn't know that. Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's what they tell you, and they weren't ever really sure because they didn't test it for 2 years. But like I won't go into the park with a 1 series magic band. I'll only do a 2 series now. So these magic bands are linked in your My Disney Experience account. Once you go on your account, you'll see all the tickets and all the magic bands associated with you. If you know you're not going to use magic bands going forward, like a certain magic band, go in and deactivate that. That'll make your experience easier, and it'll basically clear up the system for you. Like if you have one magic band associated with yourself, that's going to be better because the computer is going to be like, this is the only one. This is the only one I have to look for. Stuff like that. We ran into those errors a lot when I was working at the front desk. Like it just wasn't linking for whatever reason. It was almost always
because it's checking like 20 different bands that they got back at their house. Like, oh, not that one, not that one. Yeah.
And the reboot time was just taking too long, so the system was opting out basically.
The other thing about magic bands, I just like to mention too, is that I love. I think that there's a sense, maybe just within everyone a little bit, that trepidation, like I don't know if I want to wear that. It seems goofy or it's a little clunky, and I'm not saying that's everyone. It is exciting. Plenty of people grab them and want to wear them, but I mean, even me, I feel like I want to say one of the very first times, like I'm not wearing that. I'll look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But you get there and it's like almost like that mob mentality, but it is a part of the magic. Just like embrace it. Everyone's got one on. You don't think about that for an absolute millisecond in the park.
Oh, no, I agree with that completely. And I also will say, I think it's a great way for people to like ease into this kind of technology, you know? I mean, there's no screen on it. There's no buttons you have to push. It's just like
that's a very good point.
If you
the
look
adoption
at it,
rate is
if you look
sky
at it,
high.
If you look at it, you think, well, that's not a piece of tech. That's just a rubber band that I put on my wrist.
It doesn't even feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it. And then all of a sudden, wow, this can get me into anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah. You know, Connor, and you'll agree with me on this. You know the one place in Orlando where you do realize that you're wearing a magic band, or when the other people are? Universal Studios.
I was going to come up with something funny, but I couldn't. Yes, you do. And
you're like, oh yeah, you know the Universal people hate that.
Oh my God, and the Disney people love it. Because it just becomes like part of your routine when you're on a vacation. So you're staying at a Disney hotel. Got to wake up, put on my magic band. Oh, well, this is the day we're going to Universal. No, I'll just keep my magic band on, whatever. Then you walk through the parks. I know. I've heard some stories because I worked with people who also worked at Universal at the same time. Like they're part-time Disney, part-time Universal. And some people were like, hey, where do I touch my magic band to get in here? And you're like,
nah, that's not surprising.
Are you serious? Or other people would be like, how do I upgrade? I upgraded my Fast Pass at the park yesterday. And I was like, I believe you upgraded your Express Pass at Universal yesterday. This is their arch rival, Disney.
Back of the line, pal.
Do you not like anything about magic bands?
No, I'd say if you go real down into it, you know, when you're snapping it, I wish the end was just a little more curved and it sat a little more flush or on the very tip. There you go. That's my criticism.
The corner of my wrist gets a little sweaty, and it's just like one little spot. I want
to check that. Write down. Connor doesn't like that it gets his wrist a little sweaty, and Henry doesn't like how it doesn't fold over the right way.
And that's not even the first world problem. That's like a first world of the first world problems right there.
Yeah. Oh, we could not be more ridiculous with those complaints. We sound like idiots.
Oh no, I mean,
we always do.
I will write an angry letter, but I just have to be heard. And God knows, no one's listening to this podcast. So down the line, I think we touched on it a little bit in our news to opinion for the week. But how do we see this changing with Magic Band 2.0? Like Hank was explaining before, it's a little flatter. It has almost like a pebble inside of it that you can take out and put in other things. People put it on their lanyards. They put it on keychains. Some even just drop it in their pocket like it's a normal little key kind of thing.
That scares me.
That does scare me. I think going forward, there definitely is that possibility that these Magic Bands are going to become not overtaken, but you have the option to use other devices in lieu of it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool. Whatever. As long as the features, that come with it work just as fine. I don't care how I do it at the end of the day. I do like putting my Magic Band on when I'm on the plane, though.
Ooh, okay. It's definitely in my bag when I'm on the plane. Maybe I will start doing that.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I put it on like once I land and I'm in the airport.
A little bit of a good conversation starter, too.
Yeah, considering everyone else on your plane is going there.
Yeah. Oh, are you going? Yeah. Yeah.
Except for the poor locals that have to ride every single flight with the vacation crew.
Yeah, that is interesting.
You'll never fly on a normal plane.
No.
You realize there's not that many kids on planes normally, right? Florida people.
Yeah. You just fly to...
No,
fly-
just
to,
it's
like, a
just to
normal-
Orlando.
Yeah.
It's
You have,
just
like,
doing from Orlando.
a normal connecting flight. And you're like, is this what a normal plane... There's like one kid on this plane. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Connor, they also have PhotoPass Memory Maker in the app, don't they?
They do. They do indeed. I don't want to say this is the weakest point of it, but I think this is the most overlooked. For sure. I think there's a lot of benefits to PhotoPass Memory Maker. So
Okay.
PhotoPass, you'll see those people in the parks. They're the cameramen and women who take your photos at certain locations around the parks. If you're at a character breakfast or a character meet and greet, they'll be the ones taking your photos as well. Whenever they take it, now they'll scan your Magic Band, and it'll appear on your My Disney Experience account as well. So the Memory Maker component of it, it takes those photos that are taken from a PhotoPass person, and it combines it with ones that you get on like the attractions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Connor, I think this one, at least to me, is pretty straightforward. This would be a popular opinion. Why, to the non-annual pass members, which is a good chunk of people that walk into the parks, why is the price so high for... You just think that Disney would try to chip away at that a little bit and get single-day visitors or, shorter-term visitors or non-family members and just try to capitalize a little bit more off a really cool feature instead of, boom, $150, talk to me later. I don't care. I don't care about your story. I don't care if you're here for a day with your wife.
So if you book it before you arrive, it's $169. But if you book it after you arrive, and you can do this at any point of your stay, it's $200.
And so to clarify, too, when you say get this, I mean just explaining what it is. It is you are getting unwatermarked images in the app of everything you're taking a photo with in the park. I could be wrong about that. I might be missing a couple layers. But to me, without a deep understanding, I feel like that's what the barrier is. Those like the ungating and gating of those pictures for that price tag.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's... The attraction ones are probably the ones that everyone wants because everyone loves to see it, but no one ever buys them. I mean, people do buy them, but those ones straight up are like $15, something like that. I think if you get it printed out, it's closer to $20. So I have found that unlimited downloads of all of your vacation photos are $169 if you buy before. If you buy after, like I said, it's $200. They do have a day option, or at least they do when I was looking at this.
Interesting. Okay. They don't do a good job selling that to me then.
It's $69 for 1 day of Memory Maker.
Okay.
Which is a lot, I think, for 1 day compared to $169 or $199 if you're there for 3 or 4.
I'm gonna round up $1. 70 is a different threshold from 50 too. It's just
gigantic.
It's just a different level of price.
And I think when you're saying, well, they don't do a good job of telling me that, yeah, because they don't want you to know that they have that option probably.
Yeah, you had to do some digging for the show to even uncover that.
Yeah. And then I think we mentioned this before, but certain pass holder levels, you get it for free.
Right.
Which I do, and it's great. Because
I always ask Connor to unlock mine.
Up until that point, I never cared about it. Like, I like the photos and stuff like that, but...
You don't like them $70 worth, $170, yeah.
for $20 to get a printout. Even.
I'll take my crap. I'll hold my screen up or my phone above my head on Splash Mountain and take a picture of the screen. And walk away.
Exactly. So you can buy this before you go, the Memory Maker. Additionally, when you come back, if you didn't have the Memory Maker, you can buy the digital downloads at any point. I think they last for, maybe close to 6 months, some long time after you come back. You can buy the digital downloads of whatever sized files you want. You can order prints, but then all over Disney World they have PhotoPass kiosk locations where you can go, scan your Magic Band, you'll look at all the photos that were taken that day, and you can select and print them out wherever you want as well. I will say one thing about this. The website where you go to download them and stuff looks like a completely different website. It's 5 years older than the My Disney Experience website. Yeah, it's bizarre. I guess because it's just a completely different system and stuff. But it's. I was gonna
say, I bet there's a very complicated, system that they've coded into that, real old code that they just can't wipe clean, or else it's gonna be a massive rebuild.
And why I do think it is great. You get all these photos and stuff like that. I think of all the 4 options right now, I think it's the most flawed out of all of them.
Interesting, yeah.
And that's just because I tend to get so many.
Do you circle around the price?
Did I what?
Is the pricing part of one of the biggest flaws, or are you talking more experience too?
I would say experience. Honestly, I think the pricing is fine if you think paying $20 for an image is fine.
Yeah.
Right? If you think $14 for a download's fine, and it's a good picture, and these are good pictures for the most part. Their photographers do a pretty good job.
I'll tell you what though, when they switch over to that, so this is a little fun Disneyism now, is when they take your iPhone, and if you've got an iPhone 10 or an iPhone 8 or 8 Plus, or I guess it's a Plus model from the past 2 years that has the portrait mode, the photographers will actually switch over to portrait mode and take the portrait photo of you in front of the castle or whatever you're in front of, and they look stellar.
Great.
They look
awesome.
Let's be honest for a second. They look better than the ones that they're actually taking on the DSLRs with no settings, just point and shoot, point and shoot, point and shoot on those cameras.
And those cast members are great because they always have cool little things for you to do.
Yeah, it's fun.
One of them was always okay, hold your sunglasses just like this, and he took the photo of our reflections in the sunglasses, and had one of the, I think it was the Tree of Life in the background. It was awesome. It was really, really cool.
They don't make you feel guilty, weird, or out of place for wanting your photo in front of it. Or, asking them to do, could you take a picture this way? Could you take that type of thing? They do a good job with that. That's cool. So I would encourage anyone that's on the fence about it, don't feel bad. Every idiot walking in the park's doing it. And the cameramen are not going to make you feel bad.
And, if you just want to try it out your first day, it is $30 more to buy it when you get there. But all said and done, you make that up if you download 2 extra photos, that you wouldn't already download. So I think price point is fine. It is still expensive in the grand scheme of an overall vacation. You're paying for so much else. It's just another add-on that you have to consider. I think it isn't great just because the technology still kind of isn't all there. And I'll go and look at my app, and there'll be photos of people I have never met before in my life.
I just saw one when we were starting this segment. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, they just show up, and you're like, okay, well, that is not me. And sometimes they show up for when you're on the ride. It's basically scanning your Magic Band as you go down. And sometimes if it's everyone in my party, it'll show up all 4 times, 4 of the same identical photo. And then sometimes it'll only show up once, or it'll show up 3 times. I don't know. I don't really get that. But then the granddaddy of them all, FastPass Plus. I think of all of them, well, my Disney experience obviously is the father of this, and from it come everything else. But FastPass Plus revolutionized, dare I say, I dare, how you experience your vacation, how you plan, how you go about it, how you
for sure.
execute it. Before this, it was, what Hank was saying before, the paper fast passes, you would go right up to the attraction, you'd put in your ticket, out would pop a paper fast pass, it would tell you when to come back, and that's what you do. It was all on the fly. It was when you got there, and you got whatever time you got.
There is a delicate act of balancing between, this rationalization with I don't want to have my whole trip planned out to the T versus I just want to experience it. There's people go through this rationalization trouble with like, I just want to experience the park, or I want a fast pass. I want to have them for the whole thing. And I think fast pass had to, through the design of fast pass, they kind of thought through this process, and they're not overcommitting you to, if you're not planning 60 days out, you're totally screwed. That's not the case. The threshold for entry is at any point on your vacation, and you know what? If you show up the day of and you don't know about FastPass Plus, you're still going to feel pretty damn good when you book, Pooh's Adventure for, in the middle of the afternoon, even though Space Mountain and Splash Mountain are all booked up on FastPass.
My big thing with this is it almost seems for so many people like, well, I don't want to book it 2 months in advance. I just want to go in and do it, and now I can't. Like, you're at polar opposites, Yeah,
and you gotta design for the middle.
It's like they're saying, oh, well, because I don't have a fast pass, I can't ride this. No, that would happen to me all the time when I was working at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. They'd be like, well, I don't have a fast pass. What am I supposed to do? You can wait in line. I wasn't able to get one. They were all booked up. You can wait in line. You're still given that option. It's like when anyone talks about driving. Driving isn't a right, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
Like FastPass is a privilege that you're given as you're a Disney guest. You don't have to execute on your privilege. You don't have to, but if you want to, you have to go about it in a certain way.
What do you mean the 7 o'clock showing's sold out? Go to the 11 o'clock, pal.
Yeah, and for the people who are saying, oh, I just want to go all willy-nilly, wake up 60 days before, book your fast passes every day. It takes you 10 freaking minutes. That's it. And then when you get there, you can adjust on the fly if you want. But I don't know how people can actively say, I hate booking this far in advance, when the end result is a guarantee to ride 3 of those rides at like a 5 to 10 minute wait.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's lunacy.
Yeah. And you really do feel like you're cheating the system, even though that everyone else there is doing the same thing as you.
Oh, it's great. I will never not look at people when I'm in the FastPass line.
I always think about that. But then, and the funny thing is, too, is it's this weird, you have this mental battle where you're in the line, where you've got your fast passes booked out for the whole day, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go wait in the line for Pirates and stand there for 30 minutes. And then there's people walking by like, I would never wait in that line. You're like, yeah, I wouldn't either, but here I am.
Yeah. It's always...
And here I am.
Can't believe... Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
In such a short time.
It is... How about that, though, Connor? How often do you walk through a ride where you're like, oh, I would never wait in that line. And then, like, it's the cutscene in, like, a television show. 2 hours later. Connor's waiting in line for Jungle Cruise for 75 minutes.
Oh, my favorite thing is whenever you're...
Every damn time.
Whenever you're in the FastPass line, even though you know you're going to get there in, like, 5 minutes, you always tend to walk, like, with purpose. Like, when you're in the FastPass line, you're like, we got to go. And you just start sprinting. You're like, why are you sprinting? You're going to get there in a minute. You're like, knees to chest, everybody. Knees to chest. Just so everyone can see you running the line because they can't move 1 inch. Meanwhile, the cast members yelling at them, fill in all available space. It keeps your wait time down. Guess what? It doesn't actually keep your wait time down. But...
And then you always get the person from the other line. Hey, how'd you do that? Oh, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Can't hold a
one gentleman at one point said, how are all these people going in front of me? And I said, oh, well, they had fast passes. And he's like, yeah, I tried to book 30 days out. I didn't get mine. And I said, oh, well, they were probably resort guests. Resort guests can book 30 days out, meaning if you're staying on
60.
I'm sorry, 60. So if you're staying on property at a Disney resort on January 1st, then on November 1st or 2nd, whatever it is, you can start booking your fast passes as long as you have theme park admission. Anyone else, if you have theme park admission, you can start booking 30 days in advance of when you go. And you can book up till a minute before the fast pass goes live. So I said to the gentleman, well, I guess they probably all were booked 60 days out. And he goes, well, how's that possible? And I said, well, they were staying at a resort hotel owned by Disney. And he says, that sounds like communism to me. And I just kind of said, I just kind of turned the other way because I just didn't have the time to explain to him that, what communism actually was. And I didn't have time for a poli-sci lecture. And 2, that it indeed was not that. But
well, you're doing us all a service by letting that man through with that opinion.
Yeah. I told him that the front was better than the back as well. It's not.
Oh, poor guy.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. There are a lot of moving components with a FastPass Plus. You do have to have a game plan when you're going to go into book, and a game plan is simply what 3 rides would you really love to ride. It's as simple as that. You also want to know, when you're going to arrive in that park, which day you want to go to that park, and then if you have any reservations, dining reservations, you might want to take into consideration. So you do have to go into a game plan, know when you're going to go and things like that. But when you're in the parks as well, you can adjust on the fly with My Disney Experience on the app, or you can go to a My Disney Experience, or it's actually called a FastPass Plus kiosk. These are scattered throughout the parks. You go up, there's always a cast member there to help if you need help, but it's just a touch screen. You touch your Magic Band or your theme park admission card, and then you select, what fast passes are available, what people in your party want to ride them, stuff like that.
If your phone dies, great place to go.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's for. Or, if you do come and you don't have an account and you haven't had anything set up, that's where you would go for that. But I don't think if you're listening to this, you would end up being in that situation.
We sure hope you wouldn't be, because you wouldn't be taking heed of our advice.
You'd be really letting us down.
You wouldn't be heeding our advice.
Heed. So what's the top thing for you for this? What do you like about FastPass Plus?
I think that we touched on it before. I didn't realize it fully until now. It's the fact that, we talk about the unreliability of the app or whatever, and apps in general, the website, this, that, and the other. FastPass Plus, you will never encounter a time where if you use the right band and stuff to get in the park, you're in the park, that thing will always work. You're always going to have that Magic Band. You do not need to worry about that, and I love that 100% success rate.
Yeah, it's almost always the thing that's not working is the Magic Band. Like, that's almost what happens. I mean, of all the things, I, knock on wood, have never had, a FastPass not work for me that I knew was booked, that was on my phone and I saw. I still always take screenshots, or I'll have the phone pulled up before I go in, just in case there's a problem.
That's a good tip.
But, every once in a while I'll have a problem getting into the park, and that's, I think, just a random security measure that they do.
Yeah, I think it's the thumbprint thing too sometimes, maybe.
It's just like a little off or something. And then every once in a while I'll have that problem on the hotel room door.
Yeah. As
well. It just won't work. But other than that, I mean, what I don't like, I think, is, I would want more of them, really. Right now you can only book 3 in advance. I'd like to book more.
Yeah, I go back and forth because I do think about wait times and the increase of wait times over the years and yada yada yada. I think it definitely does contribute to the fact, or it's contributing to those wait times going up. That the fact that everyone has fast passes now in Disney, so stuff's going to book out and they really are filling every line. So I like that. Does it feel right at the time? You're like, I wish I had a couple more. Yeah.
Always, but you always want more.
Yeah.
No matter what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you more FastPass Plus, actually. Because of all of these topics, I think we could easily spend the most time talking about FastPass Plus. And we haven't even dove into tips and tricks and stuff like that. So because of that, let's end right here. And we're going to dedicate next week's show to exactly that. Think of this episode as FastPass Plus 101. And next week, we'll dive into FastPass Plus 201. We'll have a more in-depth conversation where we'll discuss the strategies, tips, and tricks for getting the most out of the system. And we hope you tune in for that then.
Man, we'll toss a whole bunch of opinions in there about which ones we love and hate and often pick when forced to decide between option A or B.
Exactly. We have a lot of opinions to share. Can't wait to get that podcast out to you, that episode. But that's going to do it for us this week. As always, thank you so very much for listening to the show. Be sure to rate and review us on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and share the show with someone you think might enjoy it. If you liked what you heard today, then you've been listening to the WDW Opinion Podcast. Well, but if by chance you didn't like what you heard, then you've been listening to the Joe Rogan Experience. For Hank, I'm Connor. We'll see you real soon.